Hello, and here we are back at Perfectly Paranormal, episode 142. My name's Annaschmidt, and I'm here every week to share with you true paranormal encounters and information about devils, demons, and dark energy beings that no one else talks about. Now today you're going to hear a fascinating but altogether sinister portal experience. Not the normal kind of dimensional doorway that I find in people's homes, but something else. Now Kim's quick observations in her home and getting help saved her from days of chaos and nights of sleep deprivation, and you will hear why. Now this was an invasion of the sneakiest kind, and I have called this experience the booby-trapped deck. Now luckily Kim is very self-aware, and she knew there was something energetically off in her house. And she messaged me, as she does, through a social media platform. And she said that she'd been peopling a lot, and that someone might have brought an energetic visitor of the negative kind into her home. And she asked me to have an energetic peek into her home, and what I uncovered was rather fascinating. It was the first time that I'd seen this particular occurrence. But I have to say that nothing surprises me anymore, and you're just going to love this. It will possibly shock you just a little bit. Now, checking Kim's home as I normally do, with a floor plan and a picture of the house, I found no dark entities, no demonic entities or magic entities roaming around the house. But as I looked at the floor plan, my spidey senses, as I call them, alerted me to an area, a kind of hot spot of negative energy in Kim's lounge room. Now, I haven't been to Kim's house, so I have no idea other than what I can see on the floor plan, which is basically a bird's eye view of the layout of the house. So I asked Kim, did someone give you an object recently that is near or to the right-hand side of the fireplace in your lounge room? Now, this was Kim's response. To the right of the fireplace, sort of to the back towards the kitchen, is my coffee table. And last week, I purchased 2 more sets of oracle cards for myself. And I opened them and I kind of browsed the books, but didn't really touch them or activate the cards in any way. Do you think I should pass them on to someone else or just get rid of them? And my answer to that question was no, as the problem, or passing them on to someone else, is just going to pass on the problem. And why waste your money by getting rid of the cards? So here is what I found attached to Kim's deck of cards. Now, there was 2 decks of cards that she'd bought. She sent me a photo of them, and I knew instantly when I looked at them which one it was. You get a sense for these things after a while. That's how I found this on the floor plan. I was looking through the whole house, but no, I had to ask about this particular spot in the lounge room. Now, one of the decks of cards was infected, indeed, with one of the sneakiest tactics I have seen in a very long time. I found a magic portal intentionally opened by a female, not Kim, but initially I thought it might have been someone that came into the house within the last 14 to 20 days, because Kim did say she'd been peopling a lot. And as Kim and I spoke about this, the person didn't actually personally enter the home via the front door, but through that rather cunning interdimensional doorway in the deck of cards. Now, I wrote an interesting observation in Kim's house clearing notes. And sometimes when you do energy work, you get the weirdest stuff come up. And it went around in my head for a good sort of 15 minutes. And I thought, do I write this down? Do I not write this down? Oh, it's not mine. It's not something I normally think about. So I knew it belonged to either Kim or a house wanted to tell her something. So a word kept popping up in my mind. It was rather unusual. And this is what I wrote down. I keep getting the word sniper repeating in my head. I felt like someone may be trying to set you up to take a fall. Now, at the time, I thought it was probably not a literal fall, but some kind of detrimental happening or situation. But it could very well be. If someone's opened a portal in an item in Kim's house, they could very well send entities and magic and all sorts of other chaotic type energy into Kim's home that may indeed cause a literal fall. And funnily enough, this word came into my head when I was looking at the lounge room. Now, someone had intentionally booby-trapped one of the decks of cards that Kim had brought. Now, Kim wouldn't know this person. She'd bought them from a local shop near where she lives. I mean, there may even have been 20, 30, 40, 50 decks of the same cards in that particular shop. And I do hope that that magic practitioner didn't infect every single deck of that particular type of oracle cards with magic portals. I mean, I can't do anything about that because I don't know who has them and where they've gone. I can only deal with what is brought to me personally or through my clients. Now, that person that had activated that portal on those cards, that person had sneaky access into Kim's home. And they could affect Kim when she's using the cards, or they could send entities, like I said earlier, they could send entities through this portal doorway, they could send magic into wherever the cards are kept. Most people tend to keep their decks, either they'll have a reading room, or they'll keep them in the lounge room, or they'll keep them next to their bed. And I'm very glad that Kim didn't have her cards next to the bed, because that would have really messed with her sleep. Now, the culprit, who do you think this person might have been? And we talked about the shop where she got the cards. So that could leave us with many, many options. So I asked my pendulum, who was this dastardly person who had infected these cards? And my pendulum said that it wasn't at the manufacturing end of the cards or at the transportation end of the cards, but more likely the shop assistant who went about stacking the oracle decks on the shelves. And that would make perfect sense. This person would have time to activate portals on these decks as they're putting them out onto the shelves. You know, and really, nothing surprises me anymore. Absolutely nothing. People are capable of so much good, but also so much nastiness. Why would they do this? Like, it really does mess with people's lives. And the other thing that really, really gets me angry, why do people think that they have the right to meddle in other people's lives? Like, I don't get angry very often, but this magic attack really does make me angry. I've seen so many clients in the last 18 months who are intentionally being attacked using magic. And you know why? People, as much as there are good sides to people, people are also very egotistical, very spiteful, can be very jealous, and are just power hungry. And they just want control over others because of their own self-worth issues. People ask me all the time, why am I being attacked? I've done nothing to deserve this. I mean, I'm a victim of magic attack myself for at least the last 4 years. And it really does make me angry. I have to really just try and calm down about the whole thing and be rational. I just don't have words. Don't have words to describe why people do this. I did have a conversation with a person the other day, and I said, well, if someone hates you enough and they come up and they punch you on the nose, well, first of all, you've got the injury. Second of all, you're a witness and you've most likely got witnesses around you. And third of all, there might be cameras or people videoing, as they always are on their phones. There's going to be evidence. There is no rational, tangible evidence when people use magic attack. There just isn't. So it's very sneaky and very underhanded. But I cleared those deck of cards for Kim. And they're absolutely 100% safe to use now. So what I did was I cleared all of the magic off the deck, working with my archangelic big brothers, as I call them, and the portal was closed and removed. And the cards were then 100% safe to use. So the lesson, what do you think the lesson from this experience might be? It's all about observation. Observation of yourself, your family, and the home that you live in. Whenever you bring in new items, big or small, whenever anything comes into the house, be aware of how the energy of the home changes. Because now you've not only got your normal spirits or random entities or demonic entities that might be attached to old furniture or, who knows what. You've got negative emotional energy, you've got trauma energy. Now you've got to think about magic and portals. So I'm not saying become paranoid, but it's all about observation, which is exactly what Kim did. She felt unwell sort of 7 to 10 days after these items had come into the home, or maybe a bit longer. By the time she got round to contacting me and I got time to do her job, it was around about 2 weeks. And she just knew there was something not right in the house. So I hope you found this very short episode rather interesting. I love sharing relatable experiences that people have. It just makes it very, very real. So next week, in episode 143, you're going to hear, why do ghosts and spirits have to be scary? People ask me that all the time. People are frightened out of their wits, and I just look at them. And usually I'm the one that's being irrational when I make the paranormal normal. So I'm going to share some of the sweetest voices I have ever heard through my spirit box, and some of the other audio clips that I've experienced, and I'm going to share them with you, and some of the experiences that I've had that don't make spirits scary, that don't make ghosts scary, because really it's the conditioning of society that make us want them to be scary. So I'm going to leave that with you for today, and I look forward to spending time with you next week. If you like the content of this episode today, please think about leaving me a rating and a review. What reviews do is they let other people know your thoughts about my supernatural subject matter. People love reading reviews, and we're spreading the word about the real paranormal world around us. I would really appreciate it. If you like this spooky content of this episode today, please hit the subscribe button and you will get a notification when every new episode is released to the public. And stay tuned for many, many more episodes unpacking the strange and unseen aspects of the paranormal world around us. So thank you for joining me today, and don't forget, if you want to share a paranormal experience just with myself, or you would like me to share one of your experiences through my podcast, you can do a voice recording, or you can write out your experience and I will read it exactly as you have written. You can email me at spiritualbeing44@gmail.com. And for information on paranormal house clearing, you can visit my website, Spiritual Being. You will find the address in the description box. And I look forward to sharing this spooky space again with you next week. And remember, life is perfectly paranormal.